What's good, y'all? Welcome to the Black Masculinist News, your daily news feed on issues relevant to black men, black boys, and black male life overall. This one is an interesting case I found from the Atlanta Black Star, AtlantaBlackStar.com, and thought it would be something to highlight that really goes in on the precariousness of black male life and the degree to which black men have to be careful and mindful, almost in an inhumane, superheroic way, about the issues that they grapple with, just to stay out of trouble, right? So this particular piece, let's get this up here. This is entitled, 5 Years of My Life is Gone. Black man convicted of murder sues Hertz for ignoring subpoenas to produce rental receipt that proved his innocence. Yeah. A black man spent 5 years behind bars for a murder he insists he didn't commit. His whole time behind bars, he knew there was a key piece of evidence that proved he was innocent. But Herbert Alford couldn't get his hands on a receipt that showed he was renting a car at a Lansing, Michigan airport when 23-year-old Michael Adams was shot dead in October 2011. That's because the company from which he rented the vehicle lost the receipt. Hertz failed to produce his proof of rental for more than 3 years. Now Alford, 47, is suing the rental company, alleging Hertz's negligence and inaction cost him a murder conviction and 5 years of his freedom. Now that's deep. That's deep. The man is 47, right? I'm 46. That means, because the data shows that, the majority of black men who've been incarcerated are mostly younger. Now that's not to say older black men aren't incarcerated, but they tend to be younger. So at nearly 50, you can be arbitrarily arrested and accused of a murder, knowing full well that you're innocent. And anyway, that's a jarring thought, but it's the reality of black male life. Alford filed his lawsuit March 9th in an Ingham County, Michigan circuit court seeking unspecified monetary damages for the company's failure to honor subpoenas in his murder case. The Detroit man was released from prison last year after a judge granted his motion for a new trial. The judge's order was based on the new evidence of the Hertz receipt. Police arrested Alford 3 days after Adams was shot execution style during an October 18, 2011 drug dispute over 50 pounds of stolen marijuana. According to Lansing State Journal, Alford maintained his innocence, claiming he was renting a vehicle at Hertz's Capital Region International Airport location at the time of the shooting. The Lansing Airport is about 8 miles from the scene of Adams' shooting. The two sites were separated by a car ride of about 20 minutes. The receipt showed Alford used a Visa credit card to rent the vehicle just 6 minutes after Adams was gunned down in broad daylight outside a shopping plaza near Lansing's Old Everett neighborhood. It's too far away, his attorney said. There's no way he could have committed the crime. But during his murder trial, Alford's legal team was unable to acquire the rental receipt, which could verify his alibi. It was the crux of his defense. White said he submitted 2 subpoenas and 3 court orders to compel Hertz to produce the paper trail for 3 years. In a statement, Alford's attorneys said Hertz ignored the subpoenas and failed to cooperate with the court orders. A jury convicted Alford of second-degree murder and weapons charges in December 2016. He was sentenced, listen to this, y'all. He was sentenced to 30 to 60 years in prison for Adams' homicide. Hertz did not produce the receipt until 2018. Company officials said they were deeply saddened by Alford's ordeal, but claimed they did not produce the receipt because they couldn't find it. While we were unable to find the historic rental record from 2011 when it was requested in 2015, we continued our good faith efforts to locate it, Hertz spokeswoman Lauren Luster said in a company statement. With advances in data research in the years following, we were able to locate the rental record in 2018 and promptly provided it. Alford's attorney said the receipt exonerated Alford. He appealed his conviction in 2018. The Court of Appeals responded by overturning the conviction and granting his motion for a new trial. Ingham County Circuit Court Judge Clinton Kennedy III ruled that the verdict has resulted in a miscarriage of justice. Alford was released from Michigan Department of Corrections custody in 2018, but his attorney said he remained in jail after his release from prison until he was let out on bond in 2020. Damn. Second trial was scheduled to start December 8th, according to Lansing State Journal, but prosecutors dismissed the charges, calling the evidence from Hertz a substantial factor. Hertz is in the midst of a bankruptcy reorganization. Alfred's attorneys acknowledged that could slow the progress on his civil lawsuit. Still, they pledged to fight for a compensation in a statement. Now, this is deep. This is deep because it means that really, if this 47-year-old man can go to jail for a crime not only that he didn't commit, he wasn't in the area, and the only thing proving his, innocence, a piece of paper that a company misplaced. This is the precariousness of black male life. Real talk. This is it. And knowing that this can happen to any brother at any time is a reality that black men face and live every day. I don't know any other demographic that lives like this, on the edge of this, day in and day out. And so I implore that my brothers get, any type. I don't care if it's therapy or if it's spending time with your boys, but finding pleasure, being reminded of the joys of life. I hope that you are able to do this on a regular basis, because the weight of knowing what can happen can be daunting. I personally believe this has a lot to do with the stress level black males face, which I think is one of the contributing factors to our, low life expectancy in comparison to other groups. We tend to have the lowest life expectancy, and I think the constant stress of knowing that incidents like this can happen to any one of us at any time. And what does a man do when you're accused unfairly and you don't have the means to produce the evidence? Think about it. If he wasn't anywhere, making a purchase, he'd be doing 30 to 60 years. If he was laid up in bed, and couldn't prove it, that's the ridiculousness of this whole situation. My favorite comedian, Patrice O'Neal, has a bit where he talks about randomly buying things at stores, cheap things, and then arguing with the employees if he can't get a receipt, just to make sure that they would remember him in case he was accused of something. And in that joke, he was talking about something, a white woman might accuse him of. And I understand the reality of that, especially in a post-Me Too environment. But it still gets me, that in this kind of situation, Patrice's bit was more truthful than it was comedic, especially for this brother here. I really feel for him. I'm saddened that he had to go through this, and I'm saddened that any of us do. And it also makes me think of how many brothers have been incarcerated that were this innocent but could not prove. Really, if I said you did something on March 13th, 2018, how the hell do you prove it? Especially if you weren't doing anything. If you're just sitting at home watching TV, how do you prove that? Especially if you don't have people that can verify that. You don't have a verifiable alibi. Well, luckily this brother did, but how many brothers don't? So that said, brothers, look, keep your head on a swivel. Make sure your mentees, your sons, I don't care who it is, whoever you advise, make sure they understand the weight that they have to carry. Otherwise, you tend to walk in these situations somewhat oblivious. And you can't. Although at the same time, you can't live in fear of it. You have to face it. You have to face the realities of it every day. And we do. But the ill part is, there's nobody coming for us. Nobody's coming to help. We have to help each other. So I hope that you take this situation, this brother's misfortune and fortune. I don't know what's going to happen to his life, even though he's been exonerated. Black men still tend to be mistreated after which, but at the end of the day, support the brother, support yourself, support each other. Make sure the next generation has to live less and less of this, because this shit right here is ridiculous and inhumane. So keep your head on, you brothers. Peace.